Good morning, everybody. Hello, can you hear me? Good, excellent. John's just adjusting the volume level. Is that okay? I'll keep speaking until he gets it right. Is that okay? It's a bit echoey, isn't it? I can hear it sort of ringing in my ear. Well, while he's doing that, I'll just carry on. Is it making anybody uncomfortable? Survive. You'll survive, okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Before I say anything else, I wanted to let you know that Dave is going to be bopping around the room, taking a few photographs for the website. So if anybody's uncomfortable about that, just come and see us later, and we'll make sure your image doesn't appear on the website. So thank you all for attending the AGM, because that means we've met our quorum requirement, and therefore we don't have to do all this again another day. I've got some apologies to give you from David Coombe, Evelyn MacDonald, Eleanor Ashcroft, and Douglas Mole. Now, almost straight away, I'm going to run away, because I'm going to hand over to Trevor now to give you some announcements from the news roundup, and then I'll pop up again after that. So over to Trevor.
Okay. Yeah, just a few announcements. Looking way ahead to the next open meeting, which is in fact not until September. So on the 1st of September, there will be a talk on the treasures of medieval and Renaissance Persia, given by Dr. Kylie Murray. That will be here as usual at 10 o'clock. Looking at events a little bit more in the closer future, in fact, we've got a new group is starting under John Andrews. This is the Summer Bowls. Those who are interested are welcome to come along this coming Thursday at 2 o'clock at the North Inch Bowling Club. This will be a free taster, but in the future, there will be a £3 charge for those to come along. If you have your own bowls, then bring them, and otherwise just bring some suitable footwear, trainers, whatever. And John Andrews, who's here today, can give you more information if you're interested. There's also a new group on photography, which will be more of a technical group. That will be, the contact there is Richard Marsh. I assume that will only be starting again in the main season, and that will be on a Monday, week 2. There will be more details on all the usual web page, you can look there, but it's to look more at educating and trying to improve sort of photographic knowledge. And the last thing to say, that's a walled garden plant sale. One of our members, Marie Noel Coates, is on the board of the walled garden, and she just announced that there will be a plant sale from Saturday the 17th of May through to the 23rd, Friday the 23rd. And there is more information on their website. I think that's all the announcements for the moment. Thank you.
The next thing we have to do is the adoption of the minutes of last year's meeting. So could I have a show of hands as to whether you think they're correct and a reflection of what happened last year? Excellent. And I now need a proposer and a seconder. So would somebody volunteer to be proposer? And would somebody second? That's Robert. Did you get those two? Great. Okay, next we move on to the chair's report. So I'm the acting chair, so here we go. I've got quite a lot to tell you, actually, so I'll try to make it as entertaining as I can along the way. Hopefully you'll all have seen Dave Smith's email on the 1st of May regarding our chair, Graham Dry, who's decided to step down due to a change in his personal circumstances. I'd like to thank Graham for his work on behalf of the U3A, and in particular for arranging an excellent roster of guest speakers and restarting our programme of social events. Over the summer months, the committee will be seeking a suitable interim chair to co-opt until next year's AGM. Could this be you? Speak to us if you think you've got the right stuff. In other committee news, Bill Younger and Joan Fraser have stepped down this year, and we thank them for their assistance in helping to run Perth U3A. I'm pleased to say that we've recruited no less than 3 new committee members, Anne Rutherford, Jonathan Babb, and Don Deeney. In fact, both John and Don, it rhymes, were elected last year but stepped down mid-year for various reasons. So it's great to have them back and to welcome Anne onto the committee. More good news. John and Don have volunteered to jointly take on the task of sourcing speakers for our open meetings and also organise our social events programme. These tasks were previously undertaken by the chair, so that position will now enjoy a less burdensome list of duties. So potential candidates, take note. Meanwhile, Anne has volunteered to become our new member liaison person, so many thanks for that, Anne. And finally, Trevor, also a committee member, has volunteered to take on the health and safety role, which is really important, particularly for our physical activity groups. So, it's a wonderful burst of volunteering spirit from the committee, but it still leaves a couple of roles which aren't necessarily committee roles unfilled. So here's your opportunity to join in the volunteering jamboree. Do you have an interest in or experience in running publicity? Because we could really do with somebody who can help us let people know the benefits of U3A membership. Or do you like organising people? Because with Joan's departure, we need a new volunteer coordinator to organise volunteer members who act as meeters and greeters at various events and take registers as open meetings. So again, speak to us if either of those 2 roles are of interest to you. Moving on. Standing at 523 members, our membership continues to grow, and this is part in thanks to our membership secretary, Dave Smith, who delivers great customer support. He also carries out intelligent analyses of the figures, which is leading to useful initiatives to improve the membership experience. We would be invisible were it not for the website team led by my sister-in-law, Anne Trant. The team consists of Trevor Abel, Bill Younger, Ray Hodgson, David Coombe, Pete Trant, and me. Congratulations to all of them again for delivering us a wonderful new website last year. And I'm not just saying that because Anne's my sister-in-law, my sister. Lastly, many thanks to St Matthew's for providing comfort, warmth, teas and coffees, and excellent audio-visual support from John Payton up there in the balcony. He's giving us a wave. So, I bring you the best news of all. Our Christmas lunch is booked for 11th of December at the Royal George Hotel. Start sorting out your Santa hats and your tinsel now. So, here endeth the chair's address, and I hope that's not disrespectful given where we're standing. I shall now hand over to Irene Twin, our treasurer, with many thanks for keeping us in good financial order. Irene.
Good morning, everyone. The summary accounts for the year 2024 to 25 are on a sheet in front of you. Should be one on every table. Fiona Brown was elected last year's AGM as an independent examiner, and she has examined the accounts and passed them as an accurate picture of our accounts. Thank goodness. Our total income this year from membership fees was £13,100, and we received a donation from Riviera Travel of £261.62. This donation is commissioned from holidays booked with them. It wasn't as much as in the previous year, and therefore cannot be relied as a regular income, but we are grateful for it when it comes. In addition to membership income, we carry a small reserve to cover unlikely events. Our income covers the three main payments that have to be met. We have affiliation fees to the Third Aid Trust, our parent body, also the rental for Unit 7, and thirdly to external group lets. This year it broke even. Our regular payments were met by our income. You can see at the top of the sheet, the expenditure, you can see these three main things that we have to pay for. There had been several requests to the committee by our relevant group leaders to provide a good projector for Unit 7. So it was decided to buy one out of our reserves. You will see the accounts show a loss, which is attributed wholly to the purchase of the projector. With Unit 7 becoming almost fully used, with no capacity available for new groups, the committee are aware that more accommodation will have to be found next session, especially if the number of groups continue to increase. One avenue that is being looked at is Unit 6 in the same building as Unit 7, but other appropriate space may be required. With that in mind, we have decided to set the membership fee to £28, hoping that that will cover any new expenses that we have to face. We think this will give us an income which will provide flexibility to provide enough accommodation for future group meetings going forward and still allow U3A with over 70 groups to be very good value for money. Membership invitations to join in 2025-26 will go out to all current members at the beginning of July to allow you to pay by PayPal, which most of you do. However, if you prefer to pay by cheque, that's fine too. We'll take cheques, cash, whatever. We now have a card reader, so it is possible also to pay by card on registration day, and that will be available for you to pay conveniently in addition to cash or cheques. Okay, I would like you to accept these. Can you put your hands, show your hands that you accept the accounts as they are? That's fine, thanks very much. Okay, accepted?
Yeah, we also need a show of hands for the appointment of the new...
I've got that, that's next.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
I would like you to propose that we appoint Fiona Brown as external examiner again. She was fine. She's wholly independent to the U3A, younger, not able to, well, she can if she wants to, but she's agreed to continue this year into next, and she's accounting experience and qualifications. So again, can you accept Fiona Brown, the same person? Yep, that's fine. Okay, thanks very much then. That's me done. Thank you very much, Yvonne.
So now over to Ray to give the group coordinators report.
Good morning, everybody. I've got the slightly husky voice this morning. This is a highlight of the AGM, which is the group coordinator annual report. The 2024-25 session has been one of continued strong membership, and our portfolio of interest groups has seen some growth. At this time last year, I happily reported that we'd grown to 72 active groups. I'm happier still to report that we end this session with 74 groups on the books. I'm not making this stuff up, you know. It's all true. The most recent acquisition dates from barely 2 weeks ago. This seemingly insignificant expansion, though, disguises much activity below the surface, with some groups disappearing and others emerging. More of this shortly. I must sincerely thank, on behalf of the committee, all group leaders and co-leaders who continue to keep their groups in good health and offer the community such a diverse range of interests. The leadership role, while intentionally informal, nonetheless demands much of leaders' time, and we all owe them a debt of gratitude. Equally deserving of thanks are the members of groups who've had to shut up shop for various reasons. So, what are the changes that we've seen? Well, new groups for this last session, something of a population explosion with new groups, aviation, armchair theatre, carpet bowls, and table tennis are all active. But new groups approved by the committee but have yet to become fully formed are artificial intelligence, environment matters, outdoor bowls, which you just heard about, and photography technical. Sadly, though, there have been some casualties along the way as well. Backgammon, too, expired almost before drawing its first breath, but Scrabble 2 and botanical illustration also did not survive. Now, I always end this bit with the uncertain groups, those with question marks at the end of the session. Well, good news, folks. Unusually, we currently have no groups whose future hangs in the balance at the moment. But given the pace of events, this could all change by this time next week. On a similarly cheerful note, the two groups that were on the endangered list at the end of the last session are now off life support and are continuing to prosper. And that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, concludes the case for the defence. Thank you.
I feel like a jack-in-a-box. So, we now come to the election of our treasurer and 6 committee members. So, as usual, we'll do this by a show of hands and as one big job lot of everybody that's up for elections. So, could I have a show of hands as to whether you're prepared to accept these people as your committee? That looks like a lot of hands, so that's jolly good. Thank you very much. That concludes, one other thing. Does anybody have any other business? I think that's a no. Thank goodness for that. So that brings the AGM part of this meeting to an end. Thanks for making it so easy to run. We now move to the more exciting bit of our meeting, which is a talk from Asha Lal of the Fire and Rescue Service. The last time I had a talk from the fire service was when I was at work. So over to Asha to give us a talk on fire.